The Caribbean Cruise from Hell by me, Carlos Campos. I went for a cruise to the Caribbean to have fun for a week. I got on the boat on Saturday, but I got hit with some bad luck as I got sick on Sunday and I tested positive for the COVID virus. I was immediately put in isolation in a cabin below the deck 24/7. I was going to be there for a week. And I could not leave until the cruise was over in a week. That was almost a death sentence as I suffered with extreme boredom, minute by minute, as I had nothing to do but eat. I got room service, sleep, watch TV, and look out the window. There was not much on the TV and just 10 crummy movies on demand TV. I've always been an extremely hyperactive person that must always be doing something. So this was torture for me as the minutes slowly went by. Go in your bedroom and try and stay in that room 24/7 and you'll get an idea how much I suffered. Plus, knowing and trying to not think about the fun I could be having with my family on the cruise boat and at all the port stops. I was being mentally tortured, so I had to figure out a way to survive mentally. As physically, I got well within a few days, but they still would not let me out. I decided that being stuck in the cabin for a week with nothing to do gave me the time and the opportunity to try and express and share my opinions, my views, my beliefs, and my philosophy on the most basic questions about life that mankind has, ever had, and will always have. And that's who created us and why? And do we really have the ability to make decisions in our lives about what we can do or what we think we might want to do? Or are we unknowingly forced to do what we do because of destiny, fate, predestination, or God's will, whichever God you believe in? In other words, is everything meant to be, and do we really have choices to make about what we'd like to happen in our lives? I believe in destiny, as I believe that everything is meant to be it good or bad. As we all have some good luck and some bad luck in our lives. And is it just meant to be because of destiny or God's plan? For example, if my parents had not crossed paths, I would not exist. And their decisions drastically affected my life, like where we'd live, where I'd go to school, as those decisions, which I had no control over, determined who I would meet, who I would marry, and of course, what children I would have and with who. The aforementioned questions, and my opinion answers those questions, based on the almost 70 years I've lived on this earth. I don't claim to know everything, but some of my opinions are based on scientific facts, biological facts, historical facts that I believe are true. And it's not to say that my opinions are the truth, they're just my opinions. I must warn you that some of my opinions are not going to always be politically correct. But I want to emphasize that I don't mean to offend or upset anyone's religious beliefs, as I'm not asking anyone to believe what I believe or to stop believing what they believe, as I might change my mind tomorrow if some facts come up that persuade me to change my views, my beliefs, my opinions, as I don't know if my opinions are right or wrong. They're just my opinions. Now, I was raised Catholic, so as a kid, the Catholic principles were drilled into me by the priest and the nuns. Those principles were basically that if you were good, you'd go to heaven, be with God, and be happy. But if you were bad, you'd go to hell for eternity and be with the devil and suffer for eternity. I hate to embarrass you, Pete, but when you were 10 and I was 11, and the nun was explaining to us how happy we'd be if we went to heaven because we get to be with God and stare at him for eternity. And you told me, damn, I couldn't stare at a beautiful naked woman all day and not get bored. LOL. Still makes me laugh. I hope it makes y'all laugh. Moving on. I must point out that we do not choose the environment we're raised in. Is it our destiny or God's will? For example, if you were raised by Muslims, you'd be raised in the Muslim faith. If you were raised by a Baptist or a Protestant, you'd be raised in those beliefs. But in America, you're always free to change your religious beliefs when you get older, and you can change those new opinions anytime, for any reason. You might have great parents that give you every opportunity to reach your goals, or bad parents that make your growing up painful and difficult, or you might just have one parent. Is this because of destiny or God's will? The reason I question if we really control our life's decisions is because we have no control over the past decisions that our parents make. And so many things happen to us in our lives that we had no control over, that we didn't ask for, that we didn't cause. For example, all the people killed on 9/11 did nothing wrong, as they did not make a mistake, they did not make a bad decision, as they all died simply because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Was it their destiny or God's will? Well, some people avoided death because they missed work that day. Now, the poor children in Uvalde all died because they were also in the wrong place at the wrong time. They did nothing wrong. They did not make any bad decisions which caused their deaths. Was it their destiny or God's will? And if it was God's will, why would God want such evil to happen to innocent children? Now, people die every day in car accidents or get murdered simply because they were also in the wrong place at the wrong time. People die every day because they get terminal cancer through no fault of their own. The bottom line is, we have no control over if and when bad luck hits us and ruins our lives, as it does ruin the lives of a lot of people. Question's always going to be, is bad luck or good luck, or God's will or destiny? And again raises the question, do we really have control over our lives? I could have died many times in my life, but I got lucky and avoided death. It must have been my destiny, which is what I believe. Now, some people get good luck. I was lucky to have two parents willing and able to finance my education. But then nobody put a gun to my head, forced me to get as much education as I did get, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices to complete my education. I would say destiny forced me to do what I thought I wanted to do. But some people like Dr. Carson, the brain surgeon, is a great example of people born without good luck, in fact, with bad luck. He didn't have two parents. He had one mother, grew up in extreme poverty, but he still managed to get the maximum education possible that he desired. Now, was it his destiny or God's will? But then, Dr. Carson, did he really have control over his life, or did he simply do what his destiny called for him to do? I don't know. I'm now going to touch on a very sensitive topic, and that's religion. I repeat what I said. I am not an atheist, as I believe in a creator. As we humans do not exist because of luck. We were created. But I don't know who our creator is, excuse me, or why he created us. It puzzles me that it's a public perception that you're either a believer or a non-believer. I disagree, as I am neither. I repeat, I'm not an atheist. But I don't think there's anything wrong with believing in a creator, but not yet knowing who he is or why he created us. I use the word creator because mankind has and always has believed in many different gods that were worshipped. I won't try and name them all. You know there's a lot. But I do believe that sooner or later, we are going to find out who our creator really is. It might be the Christian God or one of the other current gods. But we will find out where we came from and why. Because mankind is very intelligent. Unlike animals that just focus on survival, we're able to improve our lifestyles by inventing things that make our lives easier. It's amazing how much more intelligent we are than we were as cavemen. It's also hard to imagine how much smarter we are than we're going to be in 50 years or 100 years or 500 years. It's unimaginable. Now, since the beginning of time, we've gotten smarter and smarter. Compare our knowledge today to what it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. As you know, knowledge is power. And I believe that one day we're going to use our knowledge to be able to answer all questions about human life. Now, there are a lot of smart people that are atheists, but I want to give you 3 reasons why I'm not an atheist and why I believe in a creator. Number 1, as a kid, I was raised Catholic and went to a Catholic school till the 8th grade, where I was taught the basic rules. If you died with no sins, you went to heaven for eternity. But if you sinned, you could go to confession with a priest and the sins would be removed and you'd still be able to go to heaven. But if you died with a mortal sin like missing church on a Sunday, you go to hell with the devil and suffer for eternity. There was a prayer called an act of contrition that I learned quickly, that if you said that prayer before you died, you'd go to heaven, as it would eliminate all your sins. So I memorized it right away. So if I died, I'd go to heaven. LOS, I confess, I was scared of going to hell. The preachers and nuns scared me, explaining how much you would suffer there. But then one day it was announced that there was a big rule change. You could now go to church on Saturday or Sunday. That shocked me because the priests and nuns had really scared me to death about hell and how you'd suffer for eternity. I asked a question about, how about all the people that are still suffering in hell for eternity because they missed a church on Sunday before this new rule change? Now people can miss church on Sunday if they go on Saturday, and they won't go to hell. That didn't seem fair to me. It made my little brain think that these rules were really man-made and not God-made. So that, along with other reasons, caused me to drift away from the Catholic Church when I left the church school and went to high school. Reason number 2, I repeat, I believe in a creator. And this is why. Because of the Big Bang Theory. I assume you know that mankind has always studied the stars and named them. But one day a smart man realized that the stars were moving apart like a balloon expanding as the universe was expanding. And that one day we would be able to see no stars. But then the smart man calculated that if you went back in time, eventually the stars would come together like a blob. The smart man concluded that there must have been an explosion of that blob, which was called the Big Bang, and all the pieces shot into space, and they're still expanding. All those pieces became stars and planets, etc. in the universe, and one of those pieces became the Earth, which became part of our solar system, which became part of our galaxy, the Milky Way. However, I found it peculiar that all the other 8 or 9 planets in our solar system are barren, ugly, dead, with no life. Only the Earth has life, and it's beautiful, blue and green, beaming with life. How could that be when all the planets created came from the same pieces of that blob? My conclusion, my opinion, is that a creator decided to make the Earth full of life with DNA, and that life multiplied and crossbred all over the Earth. Like I said, I don't know who the creator is or why he created the Earth. Like I've also said, we're going to find out one day. If you think I'm crazy, I'm not alone, because whoever created the movies Knowing and Mission to Mars had my same concepts. I urge you to watch those 2 great movies, Knowing with Nicolas Cage and Mission to Mars. Reason number 3, it used to be that you could not believe in God and evolution at the same time. But I think that's wrong. I believe in both. I believe there was a creator and evolution at the same time. Now, the existence of evolution cannot be disputed, as it is well documented that mankind has evolved. For example, today it's 2022. Look at our lifestyles and all our knowledge. But we know that in the 1950s we were less technically advanced. Go back to 1900, and once again we were less advanced. Go back to the 1800s. No electricity, no planes. Go back to the 1500s, and America was just getting discovered. Go back to the Roman days. It was a different world. Keep going back and back and back, and eventually we were cavemen. But don't stop there. Keep going back in time, and eventually we were just cells. Now the question is, what creator created those cells and why? I don't have a clue. But like I said, we will know maybe in 100 years, maybe in 1,000 years, or maybe the creator will show up tomorrow. But there's another reason why I believe in a creator, and that's because of the incomprehensible size of the known universe. I say known universe because we don't know how big the universe is, as we only know what we have been able to discover and document with all the spaceships we've sent out in the Hubble telescope. And the known size is beyond comprehension. I want to prove that your mind cannot comprehend the size or even the size of the known universe. Now, to measure size, you just need to know distance times speed. For example, if you're going to travel 100 miles and you go 50 miles an hour, it'll take you 2 hours to get there. Now, the fastest known speed to mankind is the speed of light, which travels 186,000 miles a second. Now, to put that in perspective, you can travel around the earth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in 1 second at the speed of light. Try and comprehend that. 7 times around the earth in 1 second. That's beyond comprehension. But the known universe is so big that's measured in times of light years, which is the distance the speed of light can travel in a year. Now, the speed of light can travel 6 trillion with a T, 6 trillion miles in a year at the speed of light. You can't comprehend 6 trillion miles in 1 year. I could give you lots of examples of how big the known universe is by measuring its size by light years. But I'm going to make it simple. You know, we're part of the Milky Way. Our galaxy is the Milky Way. If you look at a picture of the Milky Way, you can't see the Earth. You can't see the sun. We're a speck that you can't even see. That's how insignificant we are. Let me tell you how big the Milky Way is. If you go from one end of the Milky Way to the other end of the Milky Way at the speed of light, it would take you 100,000 light years to go from one end to the other. Again, your brain cannot comprehend that. 1 second, 7 times around the Earth, but it take you 100,000 light years to go from one end to the other end of the Milky Way. And here's the kicker. The Milky Way is nothing. There are trillions and trillions of galaxies, most of them bigger than the Milky Way. Now, can you believe that? And go a step further. Of all these trillions of galaxies, the closest one to the Milky Way is the Andromeda galaxy. At the speed of light, it would take you 2.5 million years just to get there. Remember, that's two galaxies. There's trillions of galaxies in the known universe. And remember, we don't know the entire universe. We just know, because of the Hubble, a lot of the known universe. Bottom line point is, the Earth is so tiny, for lack of a better word, it's a crumb, has no significance in the known universe. So statistically, there has to be intelligent life on other planets. It's another story I won't get into right now. Now, when I talked about good luck and bad luck, I just want to mention, was it good luck or bad luck that meteor hit the Earth about 150 million years ago and killed all the dinosaurs? Maybe it was good luck, because mankind could not have survived or existed or prospered with the dinosaurs roaming around. Who knows? Maybe it was good luck. But bottom line is, was it God's will, destiny, just luck that meteor hit us? I could talk so much more. When is the earth going to end? Nuclear war? Or maybe another meteor would hit us? Or aliens will show up? I could talk forever. But because of COVID, locked me up in this room for 7 days with nothing to do, you were able to hear my, you could consider warped opinions on life and some general questions. Now, you'll have a good day. And I can't wait to get back to fishing. Catching later.